The next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, cats and kittens, welcome back to The Commercial Break. It's 12 Days of TCB, day number 3. Jingle to your jangle. Krissy, Joy, Hoadley, best to you.
Best to you, Bryan.
And best to you out there in the podcast universe. We're running up to the Christmas day. It's Santa! Congratulations, you did it! World's best cup of coffee! How can you not love that movie?
It was a great one.
It's a great drop, Christina. Thank you very much. We can't go an entire 12 Days of TCB without homage to one of the best Christmas movies of all time. We just reviewed them yesterday as per Town and Country, because that's where we get all of our... That's where you get all the great
information. If it's
information.
not page 6, it's Town and Country.
Town and Country, page 6, the New York Post, and Google's new Gemini, which
and
will
BuzzFeed.
not only... Yeah, BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed. Does anybody read BuzzFeed anymore? I think a lot of people do.
I know, it's still
reading,
out there.
Have you ever do you do BuzzFeed?
No, I'm an adult. I did when I was in college, when it was cool.
Yeah, I
it
used
just
to
shows
read
up in my Apple News, though, sometimes.
Well, they do have people who work there. That was a very abrupt ending to our music, but that's okay. Leave it like that, and we'll just Merry Christmas. Fuck you and the Christmas music.
Wait, give me 1 second to see if this is going to play again accidentally.
It'll play again accidentally. Trust me.
Oh, no. Okay, it just stopped playing in the middle of it.
Oh, it did? Oh, okay. There you go.
It wasn't my fault.
It's the Cuckoo Roadcaster is going on. Yesterday, it just started blinking out. So if it does that during the episode, then no one will know because they just won't hear anything.
You won't hear anything.
There you go. Elf was on, I think it was last night Elf was on, and my kids were watching it, and I just love the movie. I just love it. It's so near and dear.
Such a great movie.
Near and dear to my heart. And there's absolutely, there's sweet moments in it, right? But it's not some pious, preachy Christmas movie. It's not It's a Wonderful Life. It is just on the surface, grown up acting like a kid and getting away with it. And I just find it to be very lovely. I have to let you know that the podcast world has been shaken up, Krissy.
Ooh.
By yet another addendum.
Scandal?
No scandal here. It's just straight up fantastic numbers for a brand new podcast. Episode number 1 dethrones Joe Rogan, who has been king of the podcast world forever and ever. Amen. As long as I have been around podcasting, Joe Rogan has been at the top, and I imagine he will be again. But Kylie Kelsey dropped her very first episode of her very first podcast, and she dethroned Joe Rogan.
Good for Kylie.
Yeah, good for Kylie. Send some magic this way, Kylie, please. Yeah, it's just like another addendum to the Taylor Swift era. It's amazing to me how incredibly popular those Kelsey brothers have become. They have the number 2 or 3 podcast.
They do.
And then Kylie Kelsey, husband of a brother who was dating a girl who happens to be famous, gets the number. It shows you that there's a very low bar to entry in our world. Very low bar of podcasting. Yeah,
anybody can do it.
And we're nowhere close to conquering it. I do have to let you know 2 things I want to say. I want to make some corrections, editorial corrections here on the commercial break.
Okay, wow.
Number 1. We had reported a couple of weeks ago, and I say reported very loosely because that's like Joe Rogan showing up at the White House press corps. But we had reported that Jamie Foxx had said in a stand-up special he did here at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, people had said that he addressed rumors that he had been poisoned by P. Diddy, and that was the mysterious illness that kept him in the hospital here in Atlanta for a month, 2 months, something like that. And there was no information as to why he was in this hospital. People just knew he was very sick,
right? And
there was no information coming. So people said that when he did his stand-up special, he, in fact, said, I was poisoned by P. Diddy. Now that the special is being previewed, we have yet again gotten it wrong, Krissy. That is not what Jamie Foxx said.
I would expect nothing less of
Jamie Foxx didn't say that. Jamie Foxx talked about rumors that he had been poisoned, to which he said, I don't know about that. Like, I don't have any information on whether or not I was poisoned. I wasn't poisoned.
Yeah, he said he left the party early. He always left his parties early.
That sounds like I have no reason to believe otherwise. But isn't that what everybody's saying?
Yes.
Isn't everybody saying they left the party early? So who in fact stayed at the party? If everybody left the party early, who was still there? Was it Jay-Z or Beyonce? Who was it?
Non-disclosures out there that could tell a lot.
Wow. This P. Diddy thing has legs. It's going to keep running for a long time. Okay, but it's Christmas and I don't want to talk about P. Diddy.
Thank you.
Let's talk about number 2. I had claimed here on the commercial break that I was, in fact, one of the world's best lip sync detectors.
Yes, you did.
That I could tell when someone was lip syncing with almost certainty because my eyes are so fantastic, as is my hearing, according to Apple's new hearing test. But I might be wrong because there is a guy who broke down Taylor Swift's concerts, like 5 of them, layered them on top of each other, took pieces of songs, and then ran it through some very accurate machinery to see whether or not there was a track or if she was in fact singing live. And without any doubt, at least if you take this guy's, his graphs, his charts and graphs and things that he has. And I don't know who this guy is either.
I was going to say,
let me give him a shout out, and then you can go watch his video if you so choose. This is... Let me give his channel a shout out here because he was the one who... This is Wings of Pegasus. Nothing like Wings of Pegasus to get your...
Sounds legit.
Dr. Pegasus.
I think Wings of Pegasus is going to dethrone Kylie Kelsey tomorrow on the podcast charts. Wings of Pegasus did a breakdown, a thorough analysis of... It seems pretty scientific to me, at least. I don't know the first thing about it, and he in fact shows that the track that's being used, at least in part of the concert, is the exact same during 5 concerts. There's no fluctuation in vocal tone. There's no fluctuation in timing. There's no fluctuation in texture of her voice or any of that stuff. It's all exactly the same. Now, some people might say, oh my God, I can't believe I got hoodwinked into watching someone lip sync. And I say, really, who fucking cares at the end of the day? I mean,
no, it's a whole show. It's a performance.
Yeah, to dance and sing. And I'm not like, I think it's pretty well known at this point that a lot of artists use backing tracks or use pre-recorded vocals. And are you there? Like, it's not Bruce Springsteen. You know what I'm saying? You're not there to see a 17-hour concert and watch a band take it to the absolute limit with all its foibles and flaws. It's not the Grateful Dead where you go Franklin's Tower into Slipknot, back into Franklin's Tower. And
into Dark Star.
And it's 7 hours long. That's not what you're seeing. You're seeing a pop sensation do pop songs. And quite frankly, you probably do want to hear the album version of those songs. Like, if she was actually singing, there might be bad nights. And I think about this too, is when you have such a machine that's running, can you afford to have a bad night? Can you cancel because your voice doesn't feel good? Can everybody else afford to have those weird fluctuations in vocal tones and textures or ambient noises or whatever? No, you can't. You think Live Nation is going to let that happen? So while it looks incredibly convincing, I would say that what I now know is I am not the world's foremost expert on lip sync detection. The Wings of Pegasus is, and he has determined that Taylor Swift is in fact.
Well, I was going to say that I wonder which 5 concerts, because I was reading a snippet this morning about, I guess she just finished her last of the shows was in Vancouver.
She did.
2 nights in Vancouver.
She did.
And a lot of it was the exact same. And there were a lot of cameras everywhere. So that's part of like a documentary where you want it to be cohesive when you're editing things together from a couple of nights.
Yeah, she's got the Disney Plus thing out right now.
But there's another thing, I guess it's being filmed.
They're recording probably another one because people just can't get enough of it.
No, exactly. Why not?
Why not? And Taylor's getting paid Disney Plus had to have paid her $50, $60, $70 million to have that footage be aired on Disney Plus. And I don't know. I'm going to imagine that if my household is any indication, we have probably paid for half of that documentary.
That's right.
Because it's nonstop running in this house all the time. And so, yeah, there has to be some cohesion. You tie those nights together, right? You take the good and the bad and you chop it up and you edit it. And that's why you record a couple different nights. And you have to have the same, like vocal intonations on the same night. So it would make sense that you would have some kind of backing track, at least to lead you along so you knew where you were in tune. But this was not the nights where she was recorded for that documentary. This was, in fact, it was like Tokyo, Amsterdam, I forget it, Nottingham, England, or something like that. He takes it and he puts it all together, and what comes up, it's like a fingerprint. It matches exactly every night. And that, I guess, surprised me because I thought I was pretty good at detecting whether or not someone was lip syncing. But then also you could hear some of the what they call the plosives. Listen to my voice. You can hear a plosive, right? Mm-hmm. It's my P's are popping a little bit. And that's an indication that I am, in fact, doing this live. No lip syncing here. There is plosives in my voice. And so there are plosives in her voice. And I noticed that when I saw her live. And so I thought, oh, clearly she's live. But then this guy shared that that's a pretty common tactic to use. Oh. You go into the studio and you record these
with
live,
the plosives.
With the plosives, you leave them in, so it in fact does sound live. So,
old Pegasus man had too much time on his hands.
Wings of Pegasus. Wow is. I'll tell you what. Youth is wasted on the youth. You know what I'm saying? Wings of Pegasus is probably 19 years old. It's got 1 million views on one video.
He's probably 10.
I'm 20. What's that?
I said he's probably 10.
Nah, I don't think he's 10. He's got a nice guitar. You don't give 10-year-olds nice guitars.
Oh, you saw a picture of him?
Oh, it was a video.
Oh,
it was a YouTube
video.
Yeah,
okay.
Wings of Pegasus. Check that out. Check out Wings of Pegasus.
I'll rush right to do that.
Yeah, now listen, Dave Grohl might have been right. Remember when Dave Grohl was making a big stink? He was picking a fight with Taylor Swift, saying at least we sing live or something like that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, vaguely.
Okay. Well, he was making a big stink, and he got all the Swifties all upset at him. And then he said, at least we're singing live. And, to which she responded, we're live in LA, or whatever, she said. And the fact remains, it's very possible that $2 billion concert was just one big miming event. She was out there miming along to her own music.
I mean, there had to be some live tracks. There had to be something live.
I think that there is.
If it's just some of it, then who cares? Yeah, like you said.
I don't really care.
I know. Honestly, put on I want to see a great show.
Yeah, this is honestly the least surprising thing I've heard all day. It's more surprising to me that Jay-Z and everybody else left the party early than it is that Taylor Swift might be, in fact, lip-syncing, at least in parts of her show. There's a part in her show where she sings this 12-minute song. Don't know what it is. It's about Jake Gyllenhaal, apparently. You left
All Too Well.
All Too Well. Mm-hmm. It's a really pretty song, actually. But it goes on forever and ever. There's a 4-minute version, and there's a 12-minute version. She plays the 12-minute version at the show. At least she did at the one I was at. And I thought it was a really lovely song. I have to imagine there is no way that was pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Because it did sound to me at times like she was in or out of tune. And so I thought, and I saw her face, I could see her and her guitar. She was playing the guitar. I could hear the strumming in the monitors, and then I could see that her vocals were there. So, listen, if only when I was in 33P, we had the opportunity or the technology to have backing tracks, auto-tune, and someone else sing our songs and create them and write them, it would have been possible that I also would have been a superstar. Because everybody's looking for an aging, bald, white guy with glasses who's over-opinionated, over-caffeinated, and overstimulated to be a rock star. Doesn't the world need another Dave Grohl? Doesn't the world need another Dave Grohl? Am I right?
Yeah.
Is Dave Grohl wearing a wig? Shall we find out? I don't think so.
Dave Grohl's gone into hiding.
Dave Grohl should go into hiding. There's a point when you just say to yourself, well, there's nothing good that's going to come of this. Listen, he's a rock star. He's a rock star.
Yeah.
I think we put a little bit too much faith in some people sometimes that they're always going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
He's a rock star. And also, didn't he hasn't he been on a chain of, if you look back on his relationship history, a chain of cheating on people and then getting into a long-term relationship with them? So
I don't know. I didn't keep up with his.
What did he do? He got somebody pregnant?
Yep,
out of wedlock? Mm-hmm. Okay. That's also the least surprising thing that I've heard all day. Is the guy from the Foo Fighters got someone pregnant. Honestly, you go on tour for, 200 nights a year. That's got to be incredibly difficult just to keep the relationship together. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, all of the temptations and just the seductions of being out on the road. Plus, you're in and out of touring buses, hotels, like press events, all this other stuff. At some point, that's got to be so stressful and additionally boring that you just like need to liven it up a little bit. So a little cocaine and getting the locals pregnant, that's what you do.
Well, this was like a long-term relationship.
Oh, was it? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, then fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I didn't even go down for years.
If it was a one-night stand kind of pregnancy, then I can understand, right? Okay, hey, sorry. Whoops, I'm a rock star. What do you want me to do? But then you're doing a long-term relationship? Come on, Dave. You know better than that. You drink too much Red Bull to get... I mean, come on, Dave. Let's get it. Didn't he? He went to the hospital one time for like over-caffeination, didn't he?
Well, yeah, and then he fell off the stage.
He's fallen off the stage a number of times, I feel like. But that's another thing rock stars do.
Yeah, exactly.
How many times
Who was that other guy?
Steven Tyler.
Yes.
Steven Tyler.
It's been quite a few.
But Steven Tyler has a good reason. He's high on Percocet.
Why are you so radical?
Exactly. Steven Tyler. Steven Tyler. They unwound that band, Aerosmith. They unwound it. No more live shows because Steven can't do it anymore. Mm-hmm. He's getting too old. And fine, fair. At some point, you got to clock out. Like, that's just it. He's like 76 years old or something. And his voice, those songs, if you're into Aerosmith, those songs are at such a high register and they're so loud. At some point, your voice just can't do that. But then poor
the magic of backing track.
Well, that's true.
See?
I mean, listen, where's
maybe
Taylor's?
Aerosmith needs to tune in.
But for some reason, I'm just not feeling like Instagram's going to go crazy about Aerosmith's last tour, like they did for the Eras tour.
No.
But so they unwind the band. They call it quits. Everybody's fighting with each other, always. Aerosmith's been that way forever. People are sober and not sober, people falling off stages and cracking their head and going in other bands and all this other stuff. Then poor Aerosmith, the nail in the coffin. Disney World took their name off the roller coaster. That Aerosmith's Rock and Roller Coaster. They did not renew the contract. But I do have little like Disney adult information for you. They will be putting the Muppets on that Rock and Roller Coaster. So it now will be the Muppets Rock and Roller Coaster. And let's be honest, that's a much better call. Do you want the guy high on Percocet?
Yeah.
Or do you want Gonzo high on Percocet? Gonzo, of course.
You have
want
to go
Gonzo.
to the Muppets.
All right. Well, listen, it is the 12 days of TCB. We are so happy to have you on board until Christmas Day and then beyond, actually. Probably. We should call this the 15
Forever.
days of TCB because that's how long it's going to go on. 15 straight episodes of the commercial break. Well, actually, when you count them all together, it's 20 straight episodes of the commercial break. So congratulations to you. Why you're listening, I have no idea. Yeah. Can we dethrone Kylie now? Is that okay? Have we put in our time? Have we done enough? Can we get on top? So the 12 days of TCB. During the 12 days of TCB, we're going to be reviewing content, events, and stuff that we've spoken about over the year that we've enjoyed. We're going to revisit it. Today, we're going to get into some Ask TCBs that I have stuffed away for good measure, but I've put a twist on it, Krissy. I've put a twist on it. I'll get to that on the next segment. Yes. I'll get into that next segment. But I did want to say that also we'd like to do a little good during the 26 days of TCB.
Yes.
And so Krissy and I have both thrown a charity into the mix, and we'd like to review those two charities one more time. St. Jude's Foundation, they provide free healthcare, absolutely free, including travel and food and everything a family needs to get through a very difficult time, typically kids with terminal cancer or some kind of cancer that's really bad. And the family goes to the hospital, and they get the best care in the world for children's long-term disease. So the St. Jude's Foundation, the St. Jude's Hospital. We'll put a link in the show notes. And also, Krissy,
the National Breast Cancer Coalition Fund. And they do a lot of good for research, advocacy. They're working on a vaccine, actually, for breast cancer right now, and for the spreading of breast cancer. I think I've mentioned this before on the show, but my sister passed away from breast cancer, so it's near and dear to all of us here on the show.
Yes, Krissy's sister passed away suddenly from breast cancer, and the worst kind of
a year ago,
the worst kind of worse that you can get. And so there's gonna be a cure in our lifetimes. I can feel it. Cancer will affect you in your lifetime, whether or not it affects you or someone you love. The cancer rates are so fucking high, and so we need to fund people who are trying to find vaccines and cures for these terrible illnesses as these rates of cancer skyrocket. So please do us us a favor. St. Jude's Foundation, the National Breast Cancer Coalition Fund. We'll put a link in the show notes. We have nothing to do with this. You go, you donate directly to them. We are just shedding a little light on two of our favorites, and more to come. You've also sent some in to us, and we'll get to it. So let's take a break, and we'll be back with more shenanigans. So one of the favorite things of the audience, apparently, is when we do Ask TCB. And a lot of people send in questions, but we have just been typically terrible about staying on top of those. So we're usually 6 months to 12 months behind anybody's Ask TCB. So whether or not they get the advice on time, I just don't know. And I'm really sorry about that. We'll try and be better in the future. But here's what I wanted to do. I took some Ask TCBs that we've had in the can for a very long time, Krissy. And since it's likely that these people no longer need our advice, because I mean, it's just, let's be honest about it, it's been so long. I have decided to put a twist on this. I have decided to ask AI to ingest the question and any identifying information about the person, name, age, location, throw it into AI, and I ask them, change it into a story that we can read here on TCB. What do you think?
Perfect.
I love the idea. I thought, let's do it with a twist. I mean, some of these were like short paragraph questions. They turned into days-long stories. But I thought we'll take two of our favorite things to talk about right now, AI and our fans, and we'd mix them together into a cauldron of fantastic questions and answers. You'll get the worst advice from AI. I should have asked AI to answer the questions.
That's what I thought you were saying.
No. I asked them to spin the question.
And then we have to still answer?
We still have to answer. Okay. So I think if you wrote in, you're probably gonna get that this is you. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Hey everyone. Welcome back to I want to welcome you back to my favorite comedy podcast. AI's not working so well today. It doesn't understand plosives. It's your girl, 28 and single, living the dream. If that dream involves an alarming number of bad dates and a questionable amount of takeout food. I love how AI just decides it's now likes takeout food. So let me paint you a picture. I don't mean to brag, but I'm like a solid 8.5 on a good hair day. 9.5 if I just left the salon. And let's be real, that's pretty intimidating.
Yes.
I mean, I walk into a room and it's like I'm a lion with a room full of gazelles, except the gazelles are just guys awkwardly sipping their drinks, trying to remember how to engage in conversation instead of staring at me like I'm the last slice of pizza at a party.
Wow, AI.
AI has gotten really wet. And let me tell you, this was one of the questions that was like half a paragraph long, okay? Then there was Mr. Too Much Information. He was this guy. We went to a cute little Italian place. It had ambiance, candles, and the whole 9 yards. And then within the first 15 minutes, he started telling me about his childhood trauma. Like, who does that? At one point, I was genuinely concerned he was going to pull out a PowerPoint presentation about all his little feelings. I mean, I'm all for Mr. Emotional Vulnerability, but let's save the therapy session from when we're at least Facebook official. AI, we've officially gone off the track. And then there was the one who thought he was a comedian date. Listen, I love a good joke. This is about me, probably. I love a good joke, but this guy's idea of humor was telling me how he once dressed up like a giant hot dog for Halloween and got kicked out of a bar. I mean, I'm all for embracing my quirky side, but I didn't sign up for a stand-up routine about condiments and buns. By the end of the night, I was pretty sure I just been on a date to the worst improv comedy show ever. No, that's the commercial break, my dear AI. So here I am asking you all for advice. How do I navigate this dating nightmare? I mean, do I start carrying around a sign that says, please don't panic, I'm just a regular girl who enjoys Netflix and pizza? Or should I start adopting cats and embrace my future as the crazy cat lady who has a podcast about dating disasters? Help me out. How do I find a guy who can handle my beautiful chaos without running for the hills? Now, you ready for the original
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the difference between?
Hey, TCB, I love your show. I am 29 and single. So AI decided to make her a year younger. For what reason, I don't know. I'm 29 and single, living in Chicago. I would consider myself a pretty attractive girl, and I've always had a problem being intimidating to men who think I'm quote unquote too hot.
So AI interjected the whole hair thing?
And interjected all of it. I just asked it to take the question, make a story that's interesting for our podcast, essentially, right? So then some of this gets put into this, and she says, help me out. How do I find a guy who can handle my brains and my beauty without being intimidated? I'm just a regular girl, right? So essentially, I think what she's saying is that she's an attractive woman, and she finds that the guys that she's into find her intimidating. And yeah, well, first of all, congratulations on being beautiful. And congratulations on thinking you're beautiful.
Yes.
I think that's the best part about this email that you wrote to us, is that you have a degree of confidence in yourself. And that is always going to be attractive, and that is always going to be intimidating to no matter who it is, whether it's a guy or a girl. Confidence is intimidating because, let's face it, most people lack confidence. They just do. Look at me. I lack all kinds of confidence. How do I make up for it? I come on the commercial break and pretend like I'm a big shot. But the truth is, I get intimidated by beautiful women also. But here's the thing. If you're really just a regular girl and you're approachable and you're humble and you have this quiet confidence about you, but you just like to do the regular things that everybody else likes to do, then I would suggest the following. Do not go on the dating apps, because guys are going to swipe right on you, but then when they connect with you, they're going to feel a certain amount of intimidation because you're beautiful. Number one, find people in social situations, because then it's easy for them to get to know you without staring at you. And vice versa.
For you to get to know them.
Right? Number two, wear a bag on your head. I mean, that's the only thing you can do, right? When you're that beautiful walking around life, I mean, it must be difficult to be beautiful. What's the website where you can go, only beautiful people? What's that website where the dating app where you have to be, like, they have to approve you? You have to look a certain way?
I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're not talking about Raya.
No, Raya's for famous people. There is a dating app where you have to be approved by other people that you're good looking enough to be on the website. Social situations. People need to know your personality along with your good looks. If they're just looking at your good looks, they're going to be intimidated and they're going to start acting like dipshits right off the bat, because that's what guys do. They stumble over themselves sometimes with a beautiful woman. And so I think that's probably why you're finding it difficult. Also, maybe I suspect that, I don't know, but maybe you're a little bit more difficult than you think you are. I mean, that might be something to think about too. What is the website? Did you find it?
Well, there is one that says Luxy Selective Dating App. So it says it's a dating app that only serves successful or attractive members.
Yeah.
And they have a committee that approve people.
Imagine a fucking committee to get on a goddamn dating site.
It's AI.
Yeah, that's fake.
It's AI?
It's got to be fake. That's not real.
Can you imagine if AI is now...
Yes, I can. It's happening.
Shit.
Man.
I mean, it's hard enough out there, like in these streets. And then you've got AI making a decision about whether or not you could be on a dating app. That's pretty fucking shitty. And then you have to put yourself in the shoes of people who do not get approved. That must be a real fucking blow to your balls.
Well, you know what, too? I sent this article to you a little while back. It just made me think about it. Was the Facebook dating now is huge. We talked about how people were totally moving away from Facebook.
I looked into this.
But now the younger generation is going on there and being able to kind of see who are friends with friends. And, going about that way. That's
social
what I read.
proof. Like there was this, yeah, you're right. There was this thing that there's this term that was going around for a while called, and referred to it as social proof, right? Like if you have if you have a restaurant, social proof that other people like it will drive people into the door. Posting about this or posting about that. I love this restaurant. This food is good. The wait staff is amazing. That's social proof. Your friends like it, and so you're then likely to go try it if you're out for a new good time. And now I can start to see, I do think that people in general are moving away from posting on Facebook because, let's face it, it's just a shitty platform with a lot of old people. It's like Nextdoor. Facebook is turning into Nextdoor.
Yeah.
But Facebook dating, and when you sent me that, I did some research. Facebook dating has exploded. Because people can then see that they have friends in common. They can read comments. You don't have to be matched with someone to see people. And it's just more of
free.
Yeah, and it's free. It's more of an inviting experience. Now, I would never go on Facebook to do dating, but that's just me. I'm not, I'm not 19 years old. So.
Well, you and Astrid started your relationship kind of on Facebook.
We did, but that was different. That was a long time ago when Facebook was still a thing, and you would message people, number one. Number two, we didn't get connected by Facebook.
No, you didn't.
I would have never seen Astrid had someone not pointed. I mean, maybe I would have, but had someone not pointed out that she was in fact there. So that took a real life social situation for us to get connected. Are people in your circle using Facebook dating?
Not me.
Well, I mean, okay.
No.
Is there anybody that you know?
No one I know is using Facebook dating.
Who are these people?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. That seems to me like the most archaic form of dating, because who the hell is on Facebook that's my age?
No one. That's what I thought.
Facebook Marketplace. Tons of people go on there to sell stuff.
True, I like Marketplace.
So if you're already on
it's scary.
Facebook,
it is.
Then it's kind of luring you into the dating part.
I will
lure you into that. Mark Zuckerberg's got algorithms
got his fingers
down.
in all of the pies. He's a finger pier. He likes to finger pies. He's always fingering pies, that Mark Zuckerberg. And he's just creepy. Let's be honest about it. He's like, I think Mark Zuckerberg, if you want to, someone goes, what is AI? Look at Mark Zuckerberg. I think he is literally a creation of AI, a DNA pool put together in some weird laboratory. He doesn't even talk like a human being. He's so strange, but he's got the kids' attention. What can you say? And Facebook Marketplace, by the way, I have been to the local police department at least 12 times in the last 3 months, dropping off stuff. Because we have sold stuff on that Facebook Marketplace. And thank God, because this podcast ain't making any money. So, okay, you ready for another one?
I'm ready.
Here we go. The AI put the subject line, help, my husband's fantasy life is a little too adventurous for me. Oh, this one was interesting too. You ready for this?
Yes.
Okay, long-time listener here, and I've got a hilarious yet slightly perplexing situation that I need your advice on. So strap in or strap on, because this ride's about to get bumpy. I'm 33, happily married for 3 years to the love of my life. Let's call him Mr. Go-Getter. We met at a restaurant where he was the adventurous type, and I was, well, let's just say my idea of spicing things up was bringing home a new flavor of Ben & Jerry's. He brought a whole different vibe, suggesting threesomes when we were dating, which honestly made me feel a little bit like I was auditioning for a role in a very bizarre film. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm no prude. I can be adventurous in my own right. But when he suggested a threesome with a man, I thought, wow, I am definitely not ready for this level of team building. The only thing I want to build a pillow fort for is Netflix binges, not a harem. Fast forward a few years, and recently I've discovered that Mr. Go-Getter has been watching a lot of porn. And it's not just any porn. We're talking about the whole library of gay male porn. I mean, I always knew he had a diverse taste, but this is next level shit. I'm married to someone who has been secretly training for the gay Olympics. And I didn't even get the memo. Now I'm sitting here wondering if I should be flattered or concerned. Is he secretly harboring a desire to join a male review? Should I be preparing myself for a romantic dinner where he suggests I wear a glittery bow tie to match his new interests? This
is the AI?
This is AI doing this. Is AI slightly homophobic, or am I just reading this the wrong way?
Yeah. I forgot it was AI,
It's
and I was
AI.
like, damn.
Yeah, it's AI. But I will say, The AI didn't veer too far off the track here, and I'll explain in a minute. Okay, I'm all up for exploring new horizons, but I didn't think we'd be sailing into the waters of what's under the rainbow. So here's a question for you, oh wise and hilarious podcast host. How do I approach this situation? Should I dive into a conversation about his newfound interests without sounding like I'm about to launch into an intervention? Or do I just embrace my new inner wild woman and join him in a research session? Note, I'm open to the idea of glitter, but I'm not sure how I feel about the bow tie. Thanks for reading and keep those laughs coming. Okay, ready for the real one?
Yes.
Hey, Krissy and Bryan, I have a very interesting and perplexing situation going on in my personal life. I have been happily married for 3 years, and when I met my husband, I knew he was a bit of an adventurer. He would oftentimes ask us to do threesomes, and one night when we were engaged, he asked if we could bring a man into the bed, to which I replied immediately, no, I'm not up for that. Now, years into the marriage, I have discovered that my husband has quite the taste for gay porn. We haven't really talked about it. We still continue to make love as a couple, but I have a feeling that he is ready to adventure outside of the relationship to essentially tickle. She says tickle his fancy, and I think what he means is like go out there and get a taste of what it's like.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit concerned that he might be undercover and he may find more interest in having sex with men. Do I ask him about this and bring myself into the conversation and agree to a threesome that makes me a little bit uncomfortable? Or do I just allow him to explore his other side in secret? Asking for your advice. Thanks so much. Love you all.
I don't think you do the secret part. I think it's obviously...
This is a tough one.
Well, it's obviously of concern to her, or she's thinking about it a lot, because she wouldn't have written into us.
Yeah.
So I think you have to communicate. You have to have some kind of communication about it, whether that is what makes you feel comfortable you being adventurous and trying something out as a new thing, or if you're okay with it. It doesn't sound like she's okay with not bringing it up and just letting him do his thing.
Well, she wouldn't have written in if she was okay with just keeping it a secret.
Yes.
I mean, if you do, like, okay, so she got an indication early on that he might be up for a little, a little play with some, little ball play, so to speak.
Yeah. Which doesn't always equate to specifically gay.
No, of course not. I think maybe it's just a fantasy that you have, or it's a fetish that you have, or you like watching your wife or other significant other get cucked. I don't know. That's one. There's lots of different flavors out there.
There is
lots of different flavors, and you can't make assumptions just because someone likes something that they are a certain way. And let's be real about it. Many people are finding themselves to be much more fluid than we ever thought.
Absolutely.
Lots of people don't fit into a box, and especially in 2024. I think it's more acceptable than it ever has been not to fit in a box. And it sounds like this guy doesn't want to fit into boxes. He wants to have boxes fit into him. So she moves forward a couple years in the marriage and finds out that he secretly has maybe a porn addiction to men. Maybe this is just a fetish that he has. Maybe this is like a phase he's going through with the porn. But secrets are going to burn. They're going to burn. They're going to burn you.
Fester.
They're going to burn him. They're going to fester. You're already upset about it because you're writing a fucking podcast about this. I mean, let's be real. If you were okay keeping it a secret, you wouldn't have said anything. By the way, this is signed anonymously, so she did not leave her name. I would advise you to sit down with your hubby and be like, remember that time you wanted me to get spit roast? Are you into men? And if you are, is this something that we need to explore together? Or do you need to have a night out with the boys, so to speak? I mean, if you're up for it, like, here's the problem is that if he continues to go down this rabbit hole, things that you watch often on porn, I imagine, often become fantasies that you feel like you want to live out in real life. And then, let's be honest about it. This happens all the time.
Trip to Vegas.
That's right.
Business trip to Vegas.
For that business trip to Vegas, 1 minute you're watching a little toe porn, the next minute you're sucking feet in Thailand. That's how it happens. Not that I would know, but that's what I know. I think it's the best advice I can give you is that communication is always key.
It is.
And you can talk it through. And if your husband's secretly undercover, well, I mean, he's having sex with you. So he can't be that undercover. Right? He just probably likes to swing both ways. And, either let him have a night out and have that conversation if you're okay with that, or invite another guy into the bedroom if you're okay with that, I suppose. I think it's the best advice I can give. Keep on listening to the commercial break. Keep your marriage together. Sorry it took me 6 months to answer that question. You're probably divorced at this point. You've been waiting for that free advice to come your way. So AI is making very interesting stories out of all this. This is really fascinating to me how AI takes a little bit of information and then can generate a whole thing. Yeah, and you just have to feed it just a little bit of information. Hold on one second.
Are you using ChatGPT?
No, it's a different one.
Okay.
This one's interesting too. Okay, ready? We'll do one more. Do we have time or should we take a break or a couple of minutes? Okay. Long-time listener, first-time emailer. Buckle up because I've got a wild tale that's equal parts romantic comedy and sitcom episode gone wrong. I'm single and living my best life in a cozy little apartment. But here's the twist. I live next door to a super cute lesbian couple. I mean, they're the ultimate power couple. Think Beyonce and Jay-Z, but with a lot more flannel and a few too many houseplants. Oh my God, that's funny.
And this is AI.
This is AI.
Okay.
And here I am, the single gal next door who can barely keep a cactus alive. But here's where it gets juicy.
The single girl next door?
The single girl next door.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a gay couple, 2 women living next door.
I didn't know if it was a guy or girl that was writing this.
But here's where it gets juicy. I've developed a full-blown crush on one of the women. Let's call her hot neighbor number 1. I'm pretty sure she likes me too. I mean, we've had some eye contact, and it could melt a glacier. I also swear I caught her giggling at my attempt to carry groceries one trip, like I was some kind of Olympic athlete. Spoiler alert, I dropped a jar of pickles and it shattered everywhere. Wait, this is Krissy's story. Yes, this is AI making up a total story. It's so weird. It's so strange. Now I'm convinced that there's some cosmic connection happening here. Since we all share a wall, I've been blasting my favorite songs and belting out the lyrics like I'm auditioning for The Voice. I mean, if she's not into me, she might be after hearing my rendition of I Will Survive. Yeah. P.S. I can't carry a tune to save my life. So here's my dilemma. How do I profess my feelings for hot neighbor without it turning into an awkward episode of what not to say to your lesbian neighbor? Should I knock on the door and say, hey, I'm totally crushing on you, and it's not just because I'm desperate for a friend with better taste in houseplants? What's up with the houseplants?
I know. AI?
Lesbians into houseplants? I don't know. I can already picture or should I slide a note under her door like a high school love letter, complete with doodles and maybe a coupon for a free coffee? Well, AI, if they're living together, you don't slip a love note under the door.
No.
I mean, I want to make my move, but I don't want to end up being the neighbor who makes things weird. I can already picture the awkwardness running into her at the mailbox after I've confessed my feelings, and she's like, "Thanks, but I'm kind of into this other woman."
Right.
So help a girl out. How do I navigate the neighborly crush without becoming a full?
You do not address disaster? It. You do not address your crush.
You do not address your crush. Original email. Hey, TCB, best to you. I am a gay woman living in a small apartment in the Northeast. I happen to live next door to another gay couple, 2 women. One of them is extremely hot, and I find myself crushing on her. I think we are into each other based on some looks and a few things that have been said during social conversations. I would really love to tell her my feelings, but I have no idea how to do that. Any advice for a lonely, lost lesbian?
Do not say the feelings.
Do not say the feelings.
You're going on too little. An eye look and like a friendly hello.
You are hallucinating.
That's not.
You are a crazy person.
Can I just say, as the resident gay here?
Yes, as a resident gay.
As the resident gay here, I think you should invite them over for dinner, and then you should all get drunk, and then you should just kind of not profess your feelings.
Take
but you
your
should,
top off?
See what happens. I don't know. Put some feelers out. I think you should explore this because that could be really fun. Oh. And they might be poly. Who knows?
Okay.
Who knows?
All right. Okay.
You could do that.
Well, listen, like we said, things have gotten very open in 2024, and lots of people swing.
I think
lots of different
inviting
ways.
an invitation to dinner is a nice way to at least see like what's going on. See what's going on further than just a look
Suss it out,
from
'cause you
across
can't-
the hallway.
You can't profess your love just to one of them.
No.
You have to be willing to hook up with both of them.
Exactly.
So you can't ruin the power couple because you've decided you have a crush on them.
On one of them.
You have hallucinated that she has a crush on you additionally. I mean, it might be true, but I've had these fantasies before in the past when I was young, like one of the girls and the couple, there's a couple and one of the girls is hitting on me. Now, one time it happened to be true, but the husband was asking me to sleep with his wife.
Yes.
So that's how I picked up on the information that it was okay to do that. I'm telling you right now, I don't think it's a good idea that you should profess your love. Maybe a dinner is a good idea, or move. You're stalking this poor woman. Leave her alone. Leave Brittany alone. All right. Let's take a break. More fun with Ask TCB. One more AI twisted Ask TCB. In case you're just joining us, which you wouldn't be because you'd be listening to the entire episode unless you're skipping around like an idiot. Basically, I took old Ask TCBs that I never got to because I'm bad about that, and I'm sorry. But I took it and I threw it into AI, and I said, make an interesting story out of it and spit it back at me. Because sometimes these are like, a couple sentences long, but I just wanted to see what AI was going to do with it. And guess what I got? More trash. It's basically trash is what it is. But it's romance novel trash, it seems like, is what
it's interesting.
That's the vibe that AI... It is interesting, isn't it? And it only takes like a little bit of information, the original question in any kind of identifying information.
We're fucked.
And then I say, I know, we're totally fucked. We are so fucked.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, Krissy, you got me there.
I take back when I said we weren't fucked. We're fucked. We're fucked. All right. This is a good one, and I think we can chew into this one for a minute. Bryan, help. My son is living the restaurant rock star life.
Oh, this is right up your alley.
Hey, Bryan, big fan of the podcast here. 41-year-old woman living in Ontario, and I'm reaching out because I've got a situation with my 20-year-old son that needs some solid comedy wisdom. Who better to ask than you? My son is working as a bartender. Let me tell you, it's like watching a live action version of Cheers, except instead of Norm, we've got my kid doing tequila shots with all the regulars. I mean, I worked in the restaurant business in my 20s, so I know it can be a wild ride, but this boy is living like he's in a rock band. He's coming home at all hours, sometimes smelling like a cocktail, and looking like he just finished a set at a dive bar. Last week, he stumbled in at 3 a.m., and I swear he was trying to convince me that he was just practicing being drunk. I mean, I get it. Who doesn't want to be the next Tom Cruise in Cocktail? Tom Cruise in Cocktail. AI. Are you... what year are you referencing? How old do you think we are?
Although everybody does know that reference.
That's true. But I didn't think it would involve my son turning our living room into a makeshift bar with a collection of empty bottles and ashtrays. And let's talk about the revolving door of ladies he's bringing home. It's like I'm living in a sitcom where every week it features a new guest star. I'm just waiting for the laugh track. Except I'm half expecting one of them to pop out of his closet next, holding a cocktail shaker and asking if we have any fresh limes. I'm not sure if I should be concerned or should I just start taking notes for my next reality show. So that's an idea. That's an
TLC.
idea. TLC's taking
Bryan's
anything.
got the contact info.
No, wait until I tell you about TLC's brand new reality show that I cannot wait to watch. So here's where I need your advice. How do I approach my son about his fast-paced party animal lifestyle without coming off like the cool mom trying too hard or the concerned parent who just sounds like a buzzkill? Should I invite him to a family dinner and casually drop some life advice between bites of lasagna? Or do I set up a surprise intervention with a PowerPoint presentation, second PowerPoint reference in 3 emails? Why shouldn't...
Which people really aren't using PowerPoint anymore, so...
No. Yeah, who uses PowerPoint? Someone says they're sending me a PowerPoint, and I immediately go, not for me. Help me out here because I want to keep the lines of communication keep the lines of communication open without losing my sanity or my son. Thank you for any laughs or wisdom you might share. Thanks, AI. All right, the original email. Let me just like I'll put a summary to it because it's also very long and I don't want to get into every little inch of it. But basically, this lady is in her 40s. She does have a son that's 20 years old that's working in the restaurant business for like the last 2 years. He's really gone off the deep end. He's bringing like new girls home.
It's time for baby bird to fly from the nest.
It is time for baby bird to fly from the nest. If you are a bartender, you should be living on your own because that's a lifestyle you don't throw on anybody else except for another bartender.
Right.
That's it. That's the only reason.
Or a server.
Or a server. Yeah, someone else that works till 3 a.m. in the morning. Listen, there's no advice I can give you because this kid is going to live his life.
Yes.
This is basically the closest you're going to be to Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters is being a bartender at a popular bar. That's it. I don't know what else to say. If you're into the ladies, there's going to be lots of them. If you're halfway good looking, they're going to come home with you.
Yep.
You are drinking, you are drugging, you are having a party. The only advice I can give you as a parent myself, who hopefully does never have to deal with this, you need to just tell him to be careful, wrap it up, be consensual, and don't get crazy on the cheese whiz because the cheese whiz can get crazy on you. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Take an Uber.
Take an Uber. Yeah, take an Uber. No, not too much nose candy. About an 8-ball a night is probably the max.
That's a sweet spot.
It's a sweet spot for me. An 8-ball, a couple Percocets, 6 to 12 Bud Lights with a couple whiskey drinks and
pack of cigs.
1 pack of cigarettes per night. If you're going for the second pack of cigarettes, you're over the 8-ball limit, and then there's no reason to be out on the streets. Listen, the gas station guy knows. He knows. He knows when you're walking in at 4:30 in the morning for a pack of Camel Lights that you're fucked up. Listen.
You're not going to be able to give him the advice that he's going to listen to. He's going to have to live this out, but he doesn't have to live it under your roof.
No, that's the other thing that I'd say. If he's a bartender at a popular bar, the guy is making loot, right? I mean, bartenders make good money. If they're good at what they do.
Yes, they do.
They make good money. If they make good money, they likely can afford a place on their own. I know Ontario right now, which she did right from Canada. I know Canada's having some inflationary problems and everything's very expensive up there, just like it is here. But tell him to
get a roommate.
Get a roommate. That's it. Get a roommate. Let them live their best life. If he's smart, like I was, by the time he's 48, he'll decide to calm down a little bit.
Right. It'll just take 25 years.
Yeah. Just tell him, listen, when you're working in the restaurant business, it moves at a fast pace. It really is the rock and roll lifestyle. It's as close to being a rock star as you can come without being an actual rock star. And it's fast and it's loose, but mistakes happen and people get in trouble and you have to be careful. So explain to him that just don't go crazy on the drugs, always take an Uber, always make sure it's consensual, and wrap it the fuck up. Because the thing that will cramp your bartender lifestyle is a child. How do I know? I've got 40 of them and they cramp my style. All of them. I can't get a fucking good night's sleep.
And you'll be
here.
a grandma.
What's that?
And you'll be a grandma.
Grandpa, I'm a man.
Not you. I was talking to her.
I'm kidding.
I was talking to the writer.
I know, talking to the writer.
To the AI.
Yeah, to the AI. Yeah, plus, to AI, exactly. Tom Cruise cocktail PowerPoint presentations. That's what we've learned from AI. We are all fucked. You're right about that, Krissy.
Yep.
Here's the other thing that I have to share with you. You won't be so incredibly worried about your son when you don't know every machination of what's going on.
And you don't need to know all of that.
No, you don't even know what time he's coming in. You don't even know who he's coming home with. You don't need girls popping out of the closet. That kind of shit is free. If girls are popping out of the closet, call the police, honestly. Like, your son's a creep. Girls are popping out of the closet. Well, there you go. That's a twist. There you go. Ask AI TCB. There you go. Well, bam! Silly romantic love stories. Made up whole cloth by AI for what reason I don't know.
Good hair days.
Yes.
I mean, coming out of the salon with good hair. That's interesting.
It's like I just put a little AI, I don't know, child worker to here, go write some stories
like
for
fish flakes.
Yeah, here you go. Here you go. Just feeding you. They're all coming up to the surface and biting. All right, you ready? Before we go, I got to tell you about TLC's brand new reality show starting in January. It's a girl who has severe Tourette's syndrome and she's trying to find love. I could not wait for this show.
Oh, yeah.
She's cute. She's got like Tourette's, like the kind of Tourette's where you yell and scream things. And one of the trailers has her in an airport and she's waiting in line for security. And there's pictures of guns, don't take guns. And she's screaming, I have a gun! I have a gun!
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, but she's dating a guy, like another handsome man. So TLC just continues to knock it out of the park. Fetishizing all the weird things that go on in this world. And what can I say to TLC? You're making a living off the backs of people that... But hey, listen, if you become a reality star, right? And even on the fetishizing of your Tourette's syndrome, I mean, I guess that's not a terrible thing at the end of the day.
No, just careful in the plastic surgery.
Oh, well, that's a different story.
Bad stuff happens
to
these
people deserve all the shit that they get.
These people that get on and then they're on there for 10 years. I mean, I'm specifically thinking of Stacey and Darcy.
Yes. It's awful. They have turned into caricatures of themselves.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
It looks dangerous.
I'm watching so many Instagram reels about so many, mainly women, but it's happening to men too, whose fillers are just out of control now. They're migrating all over their face. They're getting weird. And Stacey and Darcy are two of these who just had so much work done, so many fillers put in that their lips look like balloons. Their cheeks are almost closing their eyes completely. Their foreheads are lumpy.
Yeah,
it's weird. Be careful. Yes. Be mindful. You're all right. Stacey and Darcy, while not my flavor in women, were beautiful girls in the first place.
They were, yeah.
Yeah. And
now not.
Yeah. They've always been destined for reality show success. They've been doing this even before TLC. They were making their own reality shows with their dad. And the truth is that, they got those kind of personalities that I guess some people like and they want to follow around and they're interested in the story. You don't have to blow your face up like that. That's just terrible. And now you're going to suffer the consequences. When do those fillers go away? Never, according to some doctors.
You can dissolve them. But
the doctors are saying that doesn't work. Like I saw.
Not all of them.
Yeah, not all of them. One doctor.
They get crazy.
One doctor was saying, there's like a doctor on Instagram, and he's a plastic surgeon who does fillers. And he says, when you do the fillers in the lips and some other places, he's like, there's some room for error, right? And if it migrates, it's going to migrate somewhere else in your lips. He's like, but people who are getting like, the eyebrow fillers, cheek fillers, whatever fillers, chin fillers, all this other stuff to make themselves more defined. He's like, we can try and dissolve those things, but the truth is not all of it is ever going to be dissolved. It's going to live in your body till the day that you die. And he's like, we can't stop the migration from happening. We're seeing it happen over and over again. So be careful, kids, with the fillers. And also, the commercial break is now selling fillers. Come on down to TCB Studios.
A filler party.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that you don't even need a license to. I mean, you can just fill. Anybody can fill anybody. That's the insane part about it is that there is literally zero regulation on this, and you can open up a shop tomorrow, call yourself a cosmetic whatever, and then start filling people. Isn't that true?
I think that's only true in the UK.
Oh, that's only true in the UK?
I think in the US you have more licenses you have to get.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong about that.
But in the UK, that's why everyone's filler over there looks so fucked up. No shade, no tea.
Drop. Well, here's the other thing. The veneers are out of control. Veneers and fillers. Make sure you do those by someone licensed. And for God's sakes, if you're going to get anthrax put into your eyes, make sure it's by a doctor, someone who actually went to school for that shit. All right. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Oh, Brian's giving advice for the holidays.
I'll just say the beauty standards are perpetuated by the patriarchy.
Okay. Okay, simmer down.
Christina.
Someone's got to say it.
All right. Okay, so there you go. Ask TCB. AI flavored Ask TCB.
Yeah, AI twisted.
AI twisted Ask TCB. TCBpodcast.com. That's where you go. You get more information about the show, all the show notes, the audio, the video. It's all there right there from one location. No need to go anywhere else. And now every single episode of The Commercial Break is available on video, either on the website, youtube.com/The Commercial Break. and soon on Spotify. I think I added a couple episodes yesterday, and I think they're going to start doing that with every episode. So you'll be able to watch it on Spotify if that's what you're into. Why not?
I'm into it.
Yeah. There's no money in it, but whatever. There's no money in this either.
That's our business plan. That's our business model.
I'm not Kylie Kelsey.
There's no money in this? Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that. Wherever the money is not, let's do that. All right. I'm not Kylie Kelsey. I have 75 million people waiting for me to say a word. That's unbelievable. Kylie Kelsey. Who knew?
I know.
Who knew? What does she have to say? I don't even know what she's all about.
I'm going to listen now.
I guess we'll figure that out. At The Commercial Break on Instagram. If you would, please do go ahead and follow us. TikTok, as long as it's around, TCB Podcast on TikTok. As long as that's a thing. I'll have to go remove my Jamie Foxx video that was getting attention.
Of course.
I'm just perpetuating.
It was on track to make money.
To stop.
Now you have to take it down.
Well, God bless. I'm not making any money on TikTok either. 212-433-3TCB, 212-433-3822. Questions, comments, concerns, content ideas. Ask TCB. We'll get to it, or we'll put it in AI and make fun of it. Also, National Breast Cancer Coalition Fund, link down in the show notes, as well as the St. Jude Network of Hospitals. Please go donate. They need your money, and they're doing good work. Okay, Krissy, I guess that's all I can do for right now.
I think so.
But I'll tell you that I love you.
And I love you.
Best to you.
Best to you.
And best to you out there in the podcast universe. Until next time, Krissy and I always say, we do say and we must say,
Goodbye.